And good morning at 7:04 on this Wednesday, October 12th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company. Our guest host today, Dr. Paul Stum.
Good morning, MJ, and good morning, everyone. It's great to be on the air this morning, substituting in for Coleman Walker, whom, as Judge Tatum says, is on special assignment. We're thrilled, as always, to have Mr. Bob Robert L. McDonald here with us, President and CEO of Cedar Stone Bank, an awesome bank. I want you to know that when I moved here years ago, Bob McDonald was one of the very first people to reach out to me in this community, and he's been my dear friend ever since. And now, in fact, he's one of my bosses. He's the former chairman of the board and still a trustee at Cumberland University. Bob, good morning.
Good morning, Paul. Great to be with you. I remember our meeting for the first time. That's been 25 years ago.
Yeah, close to it.
Yeah,
close
and
to it.
I was at another bank at the time, and the president for Middle Tennessee called me, who knew you, and asked that I call on you, and I did. And what I didn't expect would be a lifelong friendship that started. Not to mention the business relationship that we've had over the years, but I never knew that a dear friendship would come from it. So.
Well, I'm grateful for that too, my friend. I really am. And, you know, I was thinking about you and I have a few things in common. We have maybe more things distant on me. You're certainly a lot more fit and more handsome and more intellectually capable and lots of other things than me. But two things we do have in common are, one, our love for Cumberland University.
Yes.
And two, we both married up. You have an awesome wife, as do I.
Yes.
And I got to say hello to my awesome wife, Christy, and I want to say hello to your awesome wife, Susan, this morning, too. How's Susan today?
You're kind, and I agree with you. We both married up. Susan's made great decisions in her life, except for one, and that was a decision she made 39 years ago when she agreed to marry me. But she knew that you were going to be the guest host, and she told me to send her greetings and her.
Did she tell you what to talk about this morning?
No.
She sometimes does she not?
Sometimes she'll, hey, be sure to mention something. But no, this morning she just said, tell Paul good morning. It was great seeing you and Christy and spending time with Christy's mom at your weekend events on Saturday. Yeah. What a great day that was for Cumberland.
You know what? I want to say, particularly to you again, how appreciative we are of you and Susan always coming out and being supportive of Cumberland. You were there with us for much of our homecoming weekend, the football game and the Tim Tebow events, which were great. We'll talk about those more in a few minutes, but thank you for being out there and always being present.
It was incredible. Your team did a great job. I thought Tim Tebow, of course, he's always, I've always respected his athleticism, his faith. But I don't like the fact that he's always beat my teams. He beat my Volunteers. He beat my boys, Ole Miss Rebels. Got to see him play a number of times. Happy for MJ. She got to meet him and see him. And she did not embarrass herself. I was proud
cried.
to see. I know. But anyway, he was so genuine. I mean, he was so genuine. He was so kind to people. And
he's the real deal. He was authentic.
He is. He really is. He needs to get a little more fit.
Yeah, to be as fit as you.
He needs to get more fit. He's looking kind of wimpy. But and what a day he had. He was down in Starkville for the SEC morning show,
right,
which we watch every Saturday morning. He does a great job on that. I guess you flew down, picked him up in your plane, flew him back.
He had his own private jet that he came in on.
Okay, so he didn't fly on Stum Airlines.
He didn't fly on Stum Air.
Okay. But what a great day, and what a great idea, and great publicity for Cumberland, and a unique thing. I've never heard of anybody doing that, so I thought that was terrific.
Thank you again for being there. What do you want to say about Cedar Stone Bank this morning?
Well, I know we're about to run out of time, but hey, we're talking about something, as you noted, that we both love very much, which is Cumberland and our wives. But I guess we can just talk for the last minute or so. We have, Paul, a little bit about the economy and what we're kind of expecting as we move into the final quarter of the year. Interest rates continuing to climb. The Federal Reserve is attempting to catch up with inflation, and they've been increasing rates. Paul, I believe it goes back to May. They started out with a 0.5 point jump, and then for 3 consecutive meetings, they raised it 3/4 of a point.
Yeah.
So, prime has gone from, 3.75 to 6.25. So that's a big jump. Big jump in a very short period of time, which is unprecedented. I've never seen it jump that much that quickly. Yeah. And, but as Coleman and I talk about, we're fortunate to have a very diversified economy here in the listening area. We're not dependent on any one industry or any one business. We've got Cumberland University kind of anchoring our community. So our folks, our customers remain confident. They remain active in the economy. They're borrowing money for proper needs, like, if they're buying a new home or if they're buying business equipment or whatever. But so we're not seeing any panic by any means.
And one other good thing, I guess, is the fact that the whole Middle Tennessee, anchored by Nashville economy, is continuing to expand. And that's got to be good for Cedarstone, because you all are positioned headquartered here in Lebanon, but also in Mount Juliet and Donaldson.
It is, and we benefit from that. All businesses benefit from being in the shadow of arguably one of the nation's greatest cities. So, it is the it city, and it continues to be vibrant. And I tell you what, I'm 61 years old, be 62 here in a few months. Susan and I, we go downtown a few times a year for concerts. We're going down there tonight, by the way, to see my favorite band of all time, the Doobie Brothers.
The Doobie Brothers tonight.
Yes, can't wait. But we usually they're weeknights, and downtown Nashville's not that crazy. But we got caught up down there a few weeks ago on a Saturday night. I'm too old to be doing that.
You can't even move.
No,
you can't even move.
I'm too old for that. So
and I hate to tell you, even nowadays on the weeknights, it's that way.
Yeah.
It really
I'll report back to you next week.
I want to hear next week.
Yeah, I'll tell you all about it.
Thank you, Bob. Thanks for
you.
Cedarstone
Good to
Bank
be
and
with
all
you.
you do in the economy, and all your support for Cumberland University.
Thanks,
Appreciate
my friend.
you.
Have a good day.
You too. We now are going to shift over to our regular second Wednesday of every month guest, Mr. Rusty Richardson, representing Cumberland University. And Rusty, good morning to you.
Good morning, Dr. Stone.
You have a couple of guests with you today, and I'd like you to introduce your two other guests from Cumberland University, if you will, please, sir.
Yes, it'll be my pleasure. First, we have Mr. Reggie Blair. Reggie is the Vice President for Enrollment Services. He's been on the show before. But my second guest is Miss Amy Grant, and I believe it's her first time on the show, at least in her role at Cumberland. She's the dual enrollment and early college coordinator and also an instructor. So we'll be talking to them a bit more about what they're doing and already gearing up for not only the rest of this year, but all of next year.
Fantastic. Well, glad to have you, Reggie, and glad to have you, Amy, both on the show. Reggie is a returner, and Amy is a newcomer. Amy shared with me on the way in that her husband, John Grant, is going to be on the show tomorrow morning. So if anybody doesn't know Amy and John Grant, they are just a wonderful, wonderful couple here in Lebanon, Tennessee. We are so blessed to have both of you. I'm particularly thankful for Amy, but John's also a really good guy. I knew him back in his previous days before he was doing Compassionate Hands, and now he's doing such good stuff in our community, needed stuff. Mm-hmm. But let's start with you, Amy, and tell us about what you do as dual enrollment and early college coordinator or director at Cumberland.
Yeah, well, this has just been an amazing opportunity, so thank you for offering this to me. It's also wonderful to be here, to be on Coleman Walker, just the history, and John comes all the time, so now I get to enter his world a little bit. But with dual enrollment, my background is a high school counselor here in Wilson County, and one of my favorite things was coordinating dual enrollment for those students. I've just been passionate about that opportunity because it's such a great, we'll talk more about what it is, but just offering that to those families and working with those students. And so this opened up for me to come and finally graduate high school and come to college myself and then work on it from Cumberland's end.
So just kind of put a bow around it, early college and dual enrollment both are opportunities for high school students to take college courses for college credit while they're still in high school. Is that correct?
That is correct. So I'll talk a little bit about both programs.
Please, tell us the difference between the two.
Yes, so dual enrollment, they're both amazing opportunities. With dual enrollment, it is our program where high school juniors and seniors, they enroll in one or more of our courses at Cumberland. So they are earning college credit and high school graduation requirements at the same time. Some common examples would be like English Comp, U.S. History, College Algebra, Government. The classes that are required for high school if students enroll with us at Cumberland to take those classes, they are getting their high school credit done and at the same time getting that college gen ed requirement completed so that when they go to college, they're not repeating those classes. So they're only taking U.S. history one time rather than two. So that's just a huge benefit to them.
And early college then will allow them to do that really on steroids, right?
Yes,
So they
that's exactly the word I had when I was thinking about the difference. So early college is like dual enrollment on steroids, where students, this is for the student who, they do have some more qualifying factors, and we'll get into that here in a little bit.
All right, well, hang on just a minute then, because we need to go to a break right here. It's a good point to go to a break.
Sure.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
All right, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Bates Ford, and they've got a regular oil change, $34.95, up to 5 quarts oil, tax and disposal, $16.73. West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Heavy traffic right on schedule, actually, on 24 westbound and through the Hickory Hollow area. Watching all that traffic build out of Rutherford County into Davidson on 24 and through the Hickory Hollow area. Coming down I-40 out of Wilson County, that's been in pretty good shape so far, with the exception of some radar on I-42 parts of Smith and Wilson County. 24 is busy also coming past Whites Creek Pike. You got all that traffic flow coming in from through the Jolton area. Hey, Ober-Gatlinburg Restaurant and Lounge is now celebrating Oktoberfest all this month. Don't miss it this year. It's really a lot of fun. Check it out at obergatlinburg.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
This is Bob McDonald with Cedarstone Bank. For 17 years now, we've been serving our communities in Lebanon, Mount Juliet, and Donaldson. We can serve you in the way that best fits your needs. We have all the banking technology, we have beautiful buildings, but more importantly, we have great people. On behalf of our board of directors, I thank you for banking with us. If you don't currently bank with us, please come by and visit us in any of our locations. It would be our pleasure to talk with you about how simple banking is simply better.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Fiddler's Grove, Lebanon invites you to put on your favorite costume and get ready for the 12th annual Ghosts in the Grove event, Saturday, October 15th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the James E. Ward Ag Center. Storytellers will share history with a spooky ending, then take a mysterious trolley ride deep into the dark woods. Great family fun, food and treats. $11 for adults 17 and over, $6 for ages 6 to 16. Discounts available online at fiddlersgrovetn.com.
Cumberland University football is back in action this Saturday, October 15th, as the Phoenix travel to Crestview Hills, Kentucky to take on Thomas More University. This is Christian Capozzi of the Cumberland Sports Network inviting you to join Bob Lee and myself this Saturday right here on WANT and WCOR for play-by-play coverage of Cumberland football. Pre-game coverage begins at noon, leading up to a 12:30 kickoff. The Thomas More Saints meet the Cumberland Phoenix this Saturday at 12:30 right here on WANT and WCOR.
Welcome back, everyone. Coleman Walker is out this week, and I'm privileged to be filling in for him this morning. It's Paul Stum at Cumberland University, and we have several other guests from our esteemed university here. We always have Rusty Richardson. He has 2 other guests with him this morning, Mr. and soon-to-be Dr. Reggie Blair, working on his doctoral degree, his terminal degree, and who's our VP of Enrollment Services. And then also Miss Amy Grant. And Amy was telling us a little bit about early college and dual enrollment. And so, Amy, tell us who's eligible for dual enrollment classes and who are taking those classes.
Yes, so in order to be eligible for dual enrollment, we want students to be successful, so we look for that college-ready student. And we look for a 3.0 unweighted GPA. And for dual enrollment, we look at like the high school recommending them. For early college, we do have some additional requirements. They have to meet the ACT benchmarks because it is such a more in-depth program where they would need a 21 on the ACT, 20 on the English, and a 22 on the math. So those would be the requirements.
So you can, but folks as early as juniors in high school can start taking dual enrollment courses, at least most of the public high schools, the Wilson County high schools around the county.
Yes.
And we also, I guess, this is open to students that are beyond Wilson County as well, correct? In adjacent counties?
We do have some in 2 other counties close by. We're hoping to grow that program. We've added some online courses to make that a little more doable. So a lot of our dual enrollment classes are in person. Most of them are. We send teachers to some high schools, and that's been very successful. Some students come to our campus, and we're adding online so that we can grow into those areas where it's too far for students to come. So we're just growing in any way that we can.
And for those students who want to take early college, they can actually complete their associate degree at the same time they earn their high school diploma. Is that correct?
It's a very unique program that's new in the past few years. So students who enter early college are juniors, and so one thing they need to be aware of is they need to take the ACT during their sophomore year of high school, because we do need the ACT. And so those students enroll full-time at Cumberland for 2 years. So they're with us at Cumberland their junior and senior year of high school. They are with us full-time. They are a cohort, so their classes are all together. They really bond. They become a group. They earn their associate's degree. Their classes are all in the mornings, so it is designed for those students who can still be involved in their high school activities. We have a band student, baseball player, cheerleader.
So they can go back to their high schools in the afternoon and compete in sports, or
even be in the band class if it's at the end of the day. So it's a great, works hand in hand with the high school.
what a leg up that would be.
Yes.
I have 7 grandchildren now, and I can't wait for them to be able to participate in early college and dual enrollment. They'll be before long. Our oldest is 11 now. Hard to believe she'll be there soon. Let's shift now over to Mr. Reggie Blair. Reggie, good morning to you. Tell us first off, you've been on the air before, but you've got a new baby since you've been on the air last time, I think. Tell us about the new one in your home.
Good morning. And yes, I do have a new baby. I have a 5-month-old, and he's amazing. So I'm still trying to get him to fully sleep through the night, but we're working on that. It's still a blessing.
And you were up at 2 o'clock this morning, not just in anticipation of this radio show, but taking care of that baby, I understand.
I was, but it was good.
Well, it's good. Thank you for being here with us today. Talk to us about, you've got a few things that we want to ask you to mention for us. Tell us about Tennessee Promise and Phoenix Promise and Cumberland Promise and Tennessee Reconnect. Can you touch on each of those briefly?
Yeah, absolutely. And matter of fact, I think it'd probably be more appropriate for me to just start with the FAFSA first, because that actually leads into all of those other opportunities. So biggest thing right now is the FAFSA opened up on October 1st. It's the free application for federal student aid. And this is what students need to complete when they're trying to apply for financial aid and they're getting ready to prepare to go to college. And so the FAFSA is extremely important. The earlier you do it, the better it is. So families need to work with their getting their taxes together and using their previous information to complete that form. For the 2023-2024 academic year, it's actually shorter, so the federal government has changed the FAFSA, so it shouldn't take quite as long to complete it, but students need to do that if they're planning on enrolling in college as a senior after their senior year.
And one of the things that I think is true, correct me on this if I'm wrong, but you said the earlier you get it in, the better you are, because there are some financial aid assistance programs or scholarship programs that are kind of first come, first serve. And if you get your FAFSA in earlier, you might have opportunities for more support or more scholastic financial help than you would if you wait to turn it in. Is that correct?
Absolutely. And a good rule of thumb is to try to get that FAFSA turned in before February 1st every year when you're getting ready to go to college. So just make sure that you work on getting that in.
But they could do it right now.
They could do it right now.
Don't have to wait
It's
till
open.
February.
They can do it right now. It's absolutely open right now.
Okay.
Let's shift over to the Tennessee Promise you were mentioning. So the deadline to apply for Tennessee Promise is November 1st. So Tennessee Promise is a state program that allows students, if they graduate high school, they've been in Tennessee, a Tennessee resident for a year, to be able to actually go and get an associate's degree for free. So tuition free. It's a last dollar grant opportunity.
Totally free.
Totally
That's
free.
my favorite 4-letter
Totally
word.
free, right?
Free.
We're free. And we would love for you to take advantage of that opportunity at Cumberland. We're one of the few private schools in Tennessee that gives you the ability to use your Tennessee Promise. And so that's a great opportunity. And after you finish your associate's degree and you want to continue and get a bachelor's degree, Cumberland has had the foresight to put some scholarship opportunities in place, the CU Promise and the Phoenix Promise, that can help you complete your bachelor's degree with some additional financial aid. So the difference between the two programs is all about your eligibility. So when you file your FAFSA, once again, that's why that's important. You might be eligible for the Phoenix Promise just depending on need, and that would give you the opportunity to finish your bachelor's degree tuition free. If you don't qualify for that, you can still get significant scholarship opportunities with the CU Promise based on doing well with your GPA, and those scholarship opportunities are absolutely tremendous, and you can find more about that both of those programs on our website.
So what percentage of Cumberland students actually get some kind of financial aid, Reggie?
Yeah, actually 99.7% of our students receive some type of financial assistance.
So almost every student at Cumberland doesn't pay the full sticker price. And the earlier you get your Fafsa in, the better off you're going to be. And if you keep your grades up, the better off you're going to be. So is it true to say that really anybody who has an interest in earning a college degree today has the financial means and wherewithal to do it now with the various scholarship programs we have available?
Absolutely, I would say so. And a perfect segue to that is the Tennessee Reconnect program. So let's say you're a student or you're a professional, you're working, and you didn't get a chance to finish a degree. So you never got an opportunity to finish your associate's degree. The state has put another program in place that Cumberland accepts, which is the Tennessee Reconnect program. And you can actually go in and you can finish your associate's degree kind of under the same pretenses as you would have been able to do with Tennessee Promise, but as an adult student. And so we can help you navigate that and talk to you about your options and how you apply for that Tennessee Reconnect grant. My enrollment services team is happy to assist with that, and you can get information about that on our website as well.
And some of those programs, like Tennessee Reconnect, are available both on ground and online. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So, for example, you could earn an associate degree in business, a bachelor's degree in business, and a master's degree in business, all three either online or on ground or hybrid. And it's a combination of the two. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct.
You know, that seems to me to give a lot of opportunities to aspiring college graduates.
I would have to agree.
Good, thank you. Talk to us about new programs. We have some new programs, do we not?
Yeah, it's a great time to be at Cumberland, and actually we want to show the campus off because we have so many campus enhancements that have come over the past few years, and then we've added new programs like project management, supply chain management, biomedical sciences, and so what we wanted to do, we wanted to put together a way to preview Cumberland. So we put together some discovery days. There are preview days at Cumberland, but they're all geared around specific majors. And so, a matter of fact, this Friday, we have one that's solely based around music. So if you're interested in music, band, or choir, and you want to learn more about the music opportunities at Cumberland, it's definitely a perfect opportunity to check out. And you can see a list of all our discovery days on our website, cumberland.edu/visit. You can sign up and register for those today.
And if you come for a preview day or a discovery day, what can you expect? What time do you need to be there? How long does that last?
That's a great question. So most of the discovery days start around 10 o'clock, and you'll get a financial aid and information session. You'll get an opportunity to eat lunch in our cafeteria. We'll cover your meal. And then in the afternoon, you get an opportunity to spend time with some of our faculty and staff with some more hands-on, real-life learning experience, something that'll be more memorable and impactful so you can see what it's like to be a Cumberland student studying that major at the university.
So if you're interested, for example, in accounting or in nursing or in criminal justice, you can expect to be able to spend time with the faculty members that are teaching those subjects?
Yes, sir. That's absolutely correct.
Awesome. Thank you, Reggie. Let's go back to Rusty now. Rusty, we've got just a few minutes left before the top of the hour, or the bottom of the hour, I should say. And I want to get you, if you will, to sort of give us a brief recap of activities from last weekend, which were really fabulous. And really, I don't want to miss an opportunity to say thank you to Rusty Richardson. He quarterbacked, that's a good analogy for last weekend, but he quarterbacked many of the activities that we had on campus. Tell us about what happened.
Well, thank you. It was a great weekend. It was homecoming, so we had a lot of alumni coming back. The weekend started off really on Friday night with the athletic department doing their annual Hall of Fame banquet. Had about 150 people at that, and Hall of Fame inductees.
Yeah, 3 new inductees, and then the 2004 baseball team as a group got inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame.
Exactly. The advancement office also had Party on the Patio, which is an annual tradition for alumni returning. And then really the highlight was then on Saturday, when we had, of course, the homecoming game and everything associated with the homecoming court and all that. But our special guest, Tim Tebow, that you and Bob McDonald mentioned before, I had the opportunity and just a wonderful opportunity to spend more time with him than probably anybody else, getting him from point A to point B to point C. And anyone that has heard that he's nice, that he's sincere, that he's authentic, I can tell you what you've heard is an understatement. He could not have been more gracious, more friendly to anyone and everyone that approached him. Giving autographs, having pictures, just a wonderful human being. He gave a great talk to what we think was between 4,500 and 5,000 people at the 2 o'clock talk that he gave there on the football field.
Yeah, and it was a beautiful day, too.
It was a good, gorgeous day, and of course, I'm responsible for that. So I take all accolades for that. But it gave a wonderful talk to the large crowd, then gave a smaller talk to some of the Cumberland athletes right after that. And they were all huddled around him and just absolutely captured by what he was saying, the message he was giving. It was just so inspiring.
The only disappointment I think we had was that he didn't have any eligibility left to be able to help us on the field that day, which we didn't really need. But
Yes, well, his inspirational talk must have spurred on the Cumberland football team because, as what's been reported in the news now, it was the highest scoring game in modern football history for Cumberland. 65 points and just unbelievable performance by the football team.
I think the score at the end of the first quarter was 41-0, I believe.
We're going to have him back before every home game now to inspire the team. And then that night, for the sponsors of the event, which we're so grateful that so many local businesses and individuals helped sponsor the activities that day, there was an ESPN-style panel discussion in Baird Chapel, and with Ron Pavin, our athletic director, and George Plaster, a very well-known sports personality in the Nashville market, and people were just, again, captured by what he was saying. And one of my personal highlights of the entire day was seeing MJ Lucas be able to have her picture taken with Tim Tebow.
It's always a highlight to see MJ Lucas. But,
it's always a highlight, but I do have one thing to tell her, that he did report he had 3 fractured ribs because she hugged him so hard and didn't want to let him go. It was just a wonderful event. And again, we thank our sponsors for doing that, for making that available. And I'm not going to try to name them all in the 30 seconds we've got left. But just so many people helped make that weekend possible. It was just a great event.
Well, I want to thank you again, Rusty, for coordinating that. It is the bottom of the hour, and so we need to go to a break now, but thanks for all 3 of you being here with us this morning.
All right, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Absolute Kubota. Write it off the lot and write it off your taxes. Visit Absolute Kubota. Take advantage of the Section 179 tax deduction when you buy new Kubota construction equipment, tractors, RTVs, hay tools, or turf products. Absolute Kubota, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Building pretty good now, but it's moving 24 coming past the Jolton exit. All that traffic coming in from Montgomery County, Robertson County as well, arriving there in the Jolton area. Murfreesboro Pike and Hobson Pike, that intersection was tied up due to a crash. Church at McMillan, that's in Midtown. The fire department's still there on the scene of that wreck. It may have some injuries. Hey, Ober-Gatlinburg Restaurant and Lounge celebrating Oktoberfest all this month. Check it out at obergatlinburg.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Hi, everybody. Tommy Bryan. Join me, along with Harry Stafford, Bob Lee, and Joe Gardner, as we bring you Lebanon High School football. Brought to you by Bates Ford, Bakes and Hooker, K. Maynard Insurance, Lebanon Police Chief Mike Justice, Wilson County Sheriff Robert Bryan, Kenny Salas, Sports World, and Wilson Bank and Trust. Lebanon travels to take on Gallatin Friday, October 21, pregame at 6:30, WANT and WCOR.
4 years ago, we elected an unlikely man as governor, Bill Lee, a businessman and farmer, not a politician. He felt he could make our lives better, and he has. Bill Lee has maintained a steady hand. He's exactly the type of governor we need for 4 more years. Governor?
You turn on the TV today, and it feels like the world's gone a little crazy. But not in Tennessee. I'm proud of the work we've done the last 4 years. America's fastest growing economy, America's lowest taxes, a lot more skilled trades. We've put families first, like we said we would. And I think we're just getting started. Being your governor has been the honor of my life, and I'd be honored to serve again. Paid for by Bill Lee for Tennessee, Fred DeCosimo, Treasurer.
Gregory Dental Group in Lebanon is a family dental practice located across from Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. They offer cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and now featuring new digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments. No insurance, no problem. Call about our discount plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on a compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs. I look forward to meeting you.
Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322, West Medora Parkway across from Gibbs Pharmacy.
One of the winningest teams in the NFL returns to the field this fall, led by the reigning head coach of the year, Mike Vrabel. Your Tennessee Titans battle every week here. Touchdown, Titans! On Titans Radio.
Brought to you by Vixen Hooker, Bates Ford, Steve Mall Plumbing, The Jewelers, and the City of Lebanon Gas in Tennessee. 811, call before you dig.
This is Wilson County's home for real country music and the Tennessee Titans. Real Country 98.9.
We are watching for a line of storms to move through tonight as a cold front sweeps through the region. Of course, we could really use the rain, and the system will drop our daytime temperatures. High of 82 degrees today, but 70 on Thursday and 71 on Friday. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm number one Ned.
And good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coleman and Company on 98.9 FM WANT Radio. This is Paul Stum filling in for Coleman Walker today. I'm grateful for the opportunity to do this. I appreciate Susie James and Coleman Walker and MJ Lucas and Billy and the whole team here. It's always a privilege to be here. And this morning, like every Wednesday morning, we have a representative from Herc Reynolds, and we have this morning Mr. Joshua, who also goes by Josh Etherly. I've known Josh Etherly's daddy, Philip, for a long time, and he's a fine man. I had not met Josh until this morning, but Josh, you look like sort of a chip off the old block. Glad to have you with us this morning.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here.
So, Josh, you were telling me that you have almost a whole basketball team. Your family, you have 4 older brothers.
I do. I have 4 older brothers. I'm the youngest out of 5. So.
And how old is your oldest brother?
He will be turning 45 this year.
Wow, that is pretty old.
It
Actually,
is.
really young to me. But and you are how old, Josh?
I am. Will be turning 25 in a month.
Fantastic.
So.
And you're the only one of the brothers that's working in your dad's / Herc Reynolds business. It's your dad, I know, is sold the business, and but it's a great business. It's been such an important part of the Lebanon community for so long. You all talk about renting wallpaper steamers to bulldozers?
That was the slogan. You know, some things have changed, since the acquisition or the change over to Herc, but most everything is going to be the same. We're still going to have the same equipment and the same products, just a little bit tweaking here and there.
I've never rented a bulldozer, and I'd probably be pretty dangerous on one, but I did truthfully rent a wallpaper steamer from you years ago. My wife made me get up on a ladder. We bought a home, an old home, 1938 home, and she actually truthfully did most of the work, but I went down and rented the equipment, and we steamed off wallpaper off of our the old plaster walls of our home on West Spring Street, and then we had them redone. It was a lot of work, though.
Those wallpaper steamers, it's definitely not a hot item in today's world, but it's still just one of those things that gets people in the door, brings them in to see everything else that we carry at the store.
What are the hot items today?
Hot items today, right now, this time of the year, would definitely be aerators and seeders. It's not too late to aerate your yard. There's still a lot of people renting aerators.
Do you think if I rented one of those that I could get my wife to do that, aerate our yard? Is it operable by, a petite kind of female?
I would suggest the ride-on aerator. It'd make her life a lot easier.
That sounds more expensive.
It is more expensive.
What does it cost to rent a rideable riding aerator for a day?
So the cost on the ride-ons without the cedar box is $265 a day, and then the ones with the cedar box, so you can aerate and seed at the same time, get your jobs done a lot quicker. I believe that's right around $300 a day plus your tax and damage waiver.
And do you all sell the seed as well?
We do sell seed. We got the contractors mix and the Turfex up there at the store. Contractors is more for fresh builds, construction jobs, and then the Turfex is for the top of the line lawn.
Is that aerator something you could put in the back of I'm sure you could a truck, but what about the ride-on? Can you put that in the truck? You got to trailer that?
You do have to have a trailer for the ride-ons. The small walk-behinds we can load into the bed of trucks easily, as long as the customer, has a way of unloading it when they get to their job.
Yeah. Okay.
But
So that's a popular item these days. Anything else that's a particular hot item right now?
as always, our skid steers, excavators, dirt moving equipment, they stay out all the time. I definitely tell customers I would recommend making a reservation at least 2-3 days in advance,
Right.
just because they're such hot items.
And to make a reservation, you got to do that by a phone call, right?
Yep, just call us at the store, 615-443-7368. One of our counter people, they will be gladly to take your reservation and answer all the questions that you have.
443-7368?
Yes,
Is that
sir.
the number?
Yes, sir.
Is that number the same number you had?
It is the same number.
Is
the
that
number
443-RENT?
443-RENT.
Yeah,
Yep.
I remember hearing you all say that before on the
Mhm.
air. Your daddy used to say that. That's good.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I have one other question for you before we're just about out of time, and that is Herc actually is a spinoff of the Hertz company, right? The Hertz rental car company?
So I believe it was like probably between 10 and 15 years ago when Herc, the equipment division, separated from Hertz, like the car rental.
Yeah.
And what Herc actually stands for is Hertz Equipment Rental Company. So HERC stands for Hertz Equipment Rental Company.
I never knew that was an acronym, Hertz Equipment Rental Company.
Yep.
You learn something new every day. Even
Yes, sir.
MJ's saying she learned something new every day. That's great. Well, Josh, thank you for being here with us today, and appreciate all you do in this community to help us keep our homes and businesses in better shape by making a readily available, easily affordable equipment.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
You take care. We'll now shift to the three gentlemen. I have three other gentlemen here in the room with me. I have Mike Kurtz, who's here with me, my old friend Mike Kurtz, and he also, like Bob McDonald and I happen to know, married up. His wife, Joy, is truly a joy. And she has not only helped me to be able to hear better, but she's just a lovely, lovely person. Mike, good morning to you.
Good morning. I'm glad you mentioned that because walking out the door, as she was dropping me off here this morning, I told her to turn the radio on to listen to you.
Oh, you did?
So, not necessarily me, but you.
Well, she is wonderful. So she dropped you off. How you plan to get back? You think you can get a ride, or?
I'm hoping one of these gentlemen here with me will give me a ride. So,
Well, tell us who you have with us there this morning, Mike.
I'm going to turn it over to Mike Owen and let him do all the introductions and tell you why we're here today.
Mike Owen, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
I'm well. You have a badge on your belt. Tell us about you and why you have that badge.
Sure.
Is Mike Kurtz under police escort this morning, or?
He needs to be.
Yeah.
He really does. That's why I had to bring Pastor Jim Kubik from Lost Point Church here for us today, because he's probably going to need him as a character witness for this day's over with. I'm chief deputy of the sheriff's office. Work for Sheriff Bryan. Been his chief deputy since 2016.
We are very fortunate to have Robert Bryan in our
Yes, sir, we
community,
are.
we not?
Absolutely. He's a fine man. He's a good man. And he's a great leader.
He is indeed.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
good. And tell us about Jim Kubik, who you have with you as well.
Jim Kubik is the pastor of Launch Point Church. He is a former member of the sheriff's office and an instructor at the Tennessee Law Enforcement Academy. He's a veteran of the 82nd Airborne Division, as Mike Kurtz is a veteran of the United States Marine Corps. And we're here today to talk just a little bit about an organization that I don't believe a whole lot of folks know about, and that was the intent at the beginning not to know about, and that is the Wilson Warriors.
Wilson Warriors.
Yes, sir. This is a nonprofit organization that started, this is our 10th year anniversary. Retired Sheriff Terry Ash started this back 10 years ago. And it got started from when he went to, he was down at the Veterans Office when Bernie Ash was running the center down there. And a lady came in. We were starting at the time to help with the new monument out front. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, Coast Guard out front of the museum. Bricks for the wall. If you had a prior service member in your family or a member and they wanted to brick with their service to put on the wall, and they were $100 a piece. And there was a lady in there, and she had 3 sons, and she wanted to do that, but she didn't have the money for it. So when she left, Sheriff Ash said, hey, I want to pay for those 3 bricks for her. and I don't want anybody to know about it. And that's how this started. And we've been very professionally quiet for a long time, so I think now it's time that we come out and be more public, and we want to try to assist and help the community, especially the veterans, any way we can. And it's progressed and morphed to something that's been great. Veterans Days, we've put out over the past 10 years over 25,000 flags, cemeteries and things along those lines. We've helped with bricks on the wall, and some of our board members like County Commissioner, retired Colonel Jerry McFarland, big and instrumental in the museum.
Yeah.
And also some, I don't want to take his thunder away from him, but he's got some surprises on some new things that he's going to do out there and so forth. But we're doing a little something different this year. We kind of wanted to get it out.
Well, I wanna save that surprise for
Yes,
when
sir.
we get back from break, because MJ's signaling me it's time for a break. But we've got a surprise coming up that Mike is going to tell us about when we get back from break. Thank you.
All right, let's see what's happening on the roadways. It's all brought to you by Bates Ford and the Works Vehicle Checkup. They'll make sure your vehicle is ready for any road. $49.95 up to 5 quarts oil, tax and disposal. Tire rotation safety check too. 1673 West Main. Now in traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's pretty busy out here now. Trying to get 24 westbound and through the Hickory Hollow area. Watching all that traffic build coming out of Rutherford County into Davidson. Still looks good. I-40 through Dixon County. Just watch for some radar as you get closer to Kingston Springs, Pegram, in that area in both directions. 65 also looks like it's pretty busy down through certain parts of Robertson County. I-40 positive at the moment in from Wilson County. Hey, for customized Tennessee t-shirts, hoodies, shirts, shoes, check out RockyTopTandShirts.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
When you needed portable heating, cooling, generators and remediation equipment, contractor tools, or any other equipment or solution to help you get the job done, you trusted Absolute Rental and Supply. Now that same team brings you more equipment and more solutions as Herc Rentals. From construction and industrial to HVAC and homeowner, Herc Rentals has the gear and expertise to get jobs done efficiently, effectively, and safely. Visit us today at 1325 Main Street in Lebanon or online at hercrentals.com. That's HERCRentals.com.
Contact Stephen Lowry Land Clearing for all your land clearing needs. Whether it's clearing trails for ATVs, reclaiming pasture, or clearing your land of brush and trees, Stephen Lowry can get the job done. He works closely with customers, adjusting to make changes as you want. Steve Lowry will give you quality work at a price that you could afford. He will also beat any written estimate. Call Stephen Lowry at 615-970-8154 for all your land clearing needs. That's Stephen Lowry Land Clearing, 615-970-8154.
Fall is here. Shop Springs Creamery invites you to their fall festivities on the farm. Grab some fresh ice cream and enjoy the corn maze, shell corn pit, dummy roping, and the corn cannon, happening September 16th through October 30th. For more info, visit shopspringscreamery.com. For fresh ice cream, fall festivities, and fun for the whole family, make plans to visit Shop Springs Creamery 4 miles off I-40 towards Watertown, September 16th through October 30th. Happy fall, y'all!
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome to 98.9 FM WANT, Coleman, Walker and Company. And this is not Coleman Walker. Coleman's on special assignment, as Judge Tatum says. And your guest host today is Paul Stum. I'm privileged to be here, and we have 3 magnificent folks around the table with me. My old friend, Mike Kurtz, and he's not really that old, but he is a dear friend. And Mike was in the Marine Corps and is a Marine. And he was just telling me how appreciative he is of us Navy folks who give him a ride to the fight. So Mike, who's also now an attorney, works for the Lebanon Special School District as the system attorney, and keeps them all out of legal issues and challenges there. But Mike, tell us about what your involvement in this project is.
About a year ago, Mike Owen calls me up and asks me my interest in being on a board. And my exact response was, if you're asking, I'm in. And I didn't really know what it was.
Yeah.
He said, well, be at the Veterans Museum at whatever time it was on whatever day. And so I enjoyed being on it. It's, I think he referred to it as a kind of quiet movement for the last 10 years. that, and a lot of people in Lebanon, Wilson County, haven't heard a lot about it, but behind the scenes, the things that it's done, it's been instrumental in supporting the Veterans Museum as a whole, and the quality of people that are on the board are the true, I guess, veteran supporters in our community.
And the three of you are on the board, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Mike, are you the chair of the board?
No, that'd be retired Sheriff Terry Ash.
Terry Ash is
Yes,
the,
sir.
okay, good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he certainly is a venerable veteran himself, and that's good. Who else is on your board?
Well, there's several women, but when she's there, she's the only woman in the room, and that is Sue Vanetta.
Now, Sue Vanata's not a veteran, is she? I don't, she's a great supporter of this community. I love Sue Vanata.
Sue Vanetta could be whatever Sue Vanetta
She
wants
can
to be.
indeed. Former county commissioner, former head of the
That's
Chamber of
it.
Commerce.
No, she's not, but man, she makes great decisions, and she's a big supporter.
Good.
And she handles the money.
She handles the money.
Okay, all right. That's good.
Absolutely.
So, but all three of you are also on the board.
Yes, sir.
And we haven't really heard much yet from Jim. Let's move over here to Jim Kubik. Now, Jim, you're a veteran of the United States Armed Forces, Army.
Yes.
You're also a veteran of the Sheriff's Department. Is that correct?
That's right.
And now you're a preacher. How did you go from being a member of the Sheriff's Department to being a preacher?
Man, I get asked that question probably 20 times a week. The sovereign hand of God.
The sovereign hand of God, that's good.
I moved. I had no desire to do anything other than law enforcement until God saved me. And then I had no desire to do anything else.
And you've been a preacher for how long now?
Full-time since 2012.
10 years.
Yeah.
And your church is, say again?
Launch Point Church, right off the bypass.
Right off the bypass.
Nashville Star train station.
Are you still accepting new members at your church?
No, we've closed the door.
Close the door.
No,
Okay.
absolutely.
Kind of like my dentist office, no new patients.
No, always accepted new.
That's
Always
good.
accepted
That's good. So, how long have you been involved in the in this Wilson Warrior program, Jim?
About a year.
Just about a year. Do you have a brick on that wall?
I do not.
You not? Do you, Mike?
Yes, sir, I do.
And Mike Kurtz, do you?
I do not.
You do not? So, let me ask you this: the bricks that are on the wall, they're not in alphabetical order because people can still add bricks, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so if somebody adds a brick now, you're just putting them up at the end, and it's kind of like the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C.
Yes, sir. And if you think about it, I kind of like it that way because if they're in alphabetical order, you just kind of scan to yours.
Yeah.
And when they're not, you kind of got to go through and
You
see
gotta look
the
at 'em all.
names. Yes, sir. See some of the names of the veterans on there. So I like it that way.
So if somebody who served in the armed services wanted to add their name on a brick, or maybe a family member, you
Yes,
wanted
sir.
to honor a family member who served, who they have to be from Wilson County, or what are the criteria?
Boy, you asked the wrong person on that. Yes, I believe you have to be from Wilson County.
You
Yes,
either
sir.
have to be from here or live here.
Live here, yes, sir.
Or work here. Or
There has to be a connection to
Be
Wilson
connection,
County. I know
yes.
we just discussed that the inscription of a member that attended Castle Heights at
That's right.
when Castle Heights was actually a junior college at one time.
Before it was a military
Before it was, I think it was
Well,
before it was a true military academy, but it was still Castle Heights.
Okay. But there was a Castle Heights school before it was a military academy, a long time ago, I'm told.
The Colonel McFarland can,
Maybe he can
answer
clarify
that.
that.
I do know that the information that I've read through, the gentleman was a one-year student here, and then
He
went on.
qualifies.
He would qualify.
Okay, so if somebody wants a brick for a loved one or for themselves, then how do they make that happen? Who do they contact, and how much does it cost? And
They can contact Sabrina C. or any
Sabrina
of
C.,
the
yeah.
of the girls over at the Veterans Museum, the center there, our
Yeah.
VA reps, and they will, or any of us. I think all of our information is published, phone numbers and emails as well. Just contact us. Be more than happy to guide them any way we can. And let me throw one more thing out there real quick before I forget.
Yeah.
I really want to thank Lebanon Mayor Bell. We're doing something different this year.
yeah, we were going to go to your surprise, and
Well,
I
I'm not going to do
that,
the surprise. Colonel McFarland has to do that. He'll get real upset. But we're going to have a Veterans Walk and a Veterans Day on November the 5th at the city park, and we're going to do a field of flags. He has graciously allowed us to use an area. There'll be over 200 flags that will be displayed. Instead of doing the cemeteries this year with flags, we thought it would be better, and it's a big honor. More people can come and see this and participate. We'll have some items to give away, items for sale, and we're going to try our first ever Veterans Walk if us three can walk that far.
Well, I know Mike Hirsch is a runner. I'm certain he can walk it, but you're probably going to run it, aren't you, Mike? Or are you going to walk?
I enjoy running, but I think for this year we're gonna
walk.
We're gonna walk it.
And how far are we walking?
Depends on who shows up. If we would like to walk we'd like to walk the whole park. We'd like to do the 3-mile loop. But
3-mile loop.
But if we want to do the mile, just do the mile. Just something to get it started so we can build on it in the future.
So almost a 5K. That's
Sure.
That's a 3-mile circuit around the park, and you're going to do it at what time of day?
Well, we're going to start the ceremony at noon.
Okay.
So then I think the walk's going to be shortly after that, around 1 o'clock. Sorry, in the afternoon.
1,300 hours, right?
Yes, sir.
That's good. Okay, so the walk starts at 1,300. The event itself, show up at noon.
Yes, sir.
Get stretched out for some of us old folks who don't run much anymore. Maybe do a little stretching, a little calisthenics, and then we'll be ready to go for a 3-mile walk,
Yeah.
brisk walk. It'll be a beautiful November afternoon.
Bring the family. Can't bring dogs, can you, in the park? Sorry. Bring the family, and there'll be some things to do, some things to see.
Now, is this ultimately a fundraiser, or is it just to honor veterans?
Just to honor veterans.
But if people want to
Wanna
give
donate?
money to support, like that lady did when she tried to help the other lady who wanted to put bricks up for her 3 sons, is that who it was?
Yes,
3?
sir.
If somebody else wants to do that, wants to be supportive and provide the financial means to put a brick on the wall to honor a veteran, how do they do that? Can they give money to Wilson Warriors?
Yes, sir. They most certainly can. And again, probably the best contact would be Sabrina C. at the Veterans Clinic. She is also on the board. Excuse me, not the clinic, but the Veterans Services. And she will direct that to us. And
Sabrina C. is a great lady.
She's fabulous.
Got to know her several years ago, and she happens, I should throw this in, happens to be a Cumberland University alum now, and earned a master's degree at Cumberland, and also is a great veteran. I think she's
Yes,
a
sir.
retired lieutenant colonel.
Yes, sir.
And she is just a terrific member of our community.
I was there when they had the process. I witnessed it when they selected her. You know what was so impressive about her? Everybody had PowerPoints and talking about the things that they were good, and it looked great. But when she said, I just want to find that veteran, I want to sit down with him, and I just want to have a cup of coffee and talk to him, that sold me. That's community service, and that's a people person, and that's someone that cares about veterans.
And that's exactly what she's been doing ever since she's been in the role, is it not?
Absolutely.
She's been helping veterans, helping them in so many ways, helping them to get their benefits, helping them if they have medical issues, finding their place at the VA, helping them with the retirement paperwork.
Yes, sir.
I will tell you that since I'm now 62 years old, and I get a small check every month now from the government for my time in the United States Navy, which is really nice, and I'm grateful for that opportunity to have served too.
Yes, sir.
And President Stum, I think it's important to point out what the event we're doing is just a complement to what the normal veterans program is going to be later on Veterans Day. We're not looking
On November the 11th at the 11th hour on the 11th
That's
day
my
of the 11th
understanding.
month.
We're not looking to replace that. We're looking to complement that just with the Field of Flags and this event, and to draw a greater attention to the veterans. And you know, there are plans that later that we have ideas on how to draw more attention to veterans during this time with possible yard signs with veterans' pictures on it. And, you know, just down West Main, there's so many things that we owe to our veterans. And I don't think we do enough to draw attention to who, and you know, the the new veterans too. We forget of who the new veterans are. We think about the Korean veterans. We think about World War I, World War
Vietnam.
II, and Vietnam, and by all means, every veteran's important. But we forget sometimes that we have some young men that are 22, 23 years old
Who have served. Yeah, young men and women.
Young men and women.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Mike Kurtz hit on it, and that's why we want to not remain silent anymore. We need to come out, and we need to show support, and we need to accomplish this, make it happen.
So you all, it has been a relatively silent organization, but as I recall, didn't you all do a breakfast a few years ago? Or
We do a Christmas breakfast every year.
Okay.
We did our first golf tournament last year, which was
Where'd you hold that?
Lebanon Country Club. I don't know if they ever let us come back again. I think we hit too many car windows, but no, it was at the Lebanon Country Club, and it was great. Great turnout. Great turnout.
That's good. And was that open to only veterans or to anybody who wanted
open
to?
to anybody.
Okay. And that too was a fundraiser to help raise
Yes, sir.
money to support Wilson Warriors.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Well, gentlemen, we're almost out of time. Mike, I want to give you the last word, for we have 30 seconds left before we have to be off the air. Tell us just in wrap up what you all have planned for coming up on November 5th.
November 5th, of course, we're going to have just kind of a get-together, and we'll have some items there that can be purchased if you want to, some items to give away. If you want to make a donation, you can. There'll be the Field of Flags, which would be a great thing to see and walk through. And then if you want to participate in the walk, participate in the walk. It's for the veterans.
Fantastic. Okay, so Mike Owen, Mike Kurtz, Jim Kubik, thank all three of you for being with us this morning and telling us about what you have planned for Wilson Warriors. Great to be with you. MJ?
Thanks, sir.